Schweinberger tipped in front of the net.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Attack Rap. Zach Scribner alongside Cal Uens and Julian Fantino, Adrian Mussos. Busy at hockey tonight, so guys, it's the three of us. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing good.
So let's start off with the OHL top 10 in scoring. You'll see a few Owen Sound Attack members in that list. Ty Voigt, though, continues to lead the way with 40 points on the season. But we'll, as I mentioned, take a look at 3, 4, 5 there. Denny Gore sits third with 34 points. He enters this week on an 8-game point streak where he scored 16 points over that time. Cedric Guindon was fourth with 32 points. The Habs prospect has 3 goals and 10 assists over his last few games. Colby Barlow, who enters this week on a 7-game goal streak and 8-game point streak, is tied with Brennan Othman and Logan Morrison for 5th in league scoring with 31 points. Francesco Arcuri, Luca Pinelli, and Sean McGurn close out the top 10 with 30 points. We'll now take a look at the OHL's Player of the Week. Ottawa Senators prospect Jorian Donovan of the Hamilton Bulldogs is the Coach Co OHL Player of the Week. He recorded 3 goals, 3 assists, and 6 points in 2 games, along with a plus-minus rating of +9. Donovan recorded a pair of assists Friday versus the North Bay Battalion and followed that up with his first career hat trick while adding an assist as the Bulldogs defeated the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds 10-6. Brett Brochu of the London Knights is the OHL's goaltender of the week, where he recorded 2 wins, including a shutout with a goals against average of 1 and a .969 save percentage. Brochu turned aside all 28 shots that came his way, turned first star honors as the Knights opened up the weekend with a 4-0 shutout victory over Kitchener Friday. Brochu returned to the crease on Sunday night in Oshawa, stopping 34 of 36 shots he faced as the Knights defeated the Generals 4-2. The Owen Sound Attack's Player of the Week is Colby Barlow. Barlow started with a hat-trick versus Windsor last Wednesday and then added 2 goals and an assist in a home-and-home with the Guelph Storm. Now let's turn our focus to the Western Conference standings. The Saginaw Spirit, they're on a 9-game win streak. They lead the Western Conference with 35 points. The Owen Sound Attack picked up 4 points this week. They continue to lead the Midwest Division, but teams are starting to catch up. The London Knights are 8-2 in their last 10 games, now just 4 points back of Owen Sound for being tied with the division. The London Knights and the Guelph Storm are in action this evening. The Erie Otters are starting to cool back down. They're 5-5 of their last 10. They sit 8 points back of Owen Sound. The Guelph Storm have leapfrogged Kitchener for 9th, but the Rangers are just 1 point back. To the Eastern Conference, the Ottawa 67s, they've now lost 4 games on the season, but they continue to have the most points across the OHL with 38. North Bay continues to lead the Central Division with 30 points, 3 ahead of the Mississauga Steelheads. Kingston sits 5th in the Eastern Conference with 26 points, 3 ahead of the Barrie Colts. They're in 6th place. The defending OHL champion Hamilton Bulldogs are 7th with 19 points. Owen Sound will travel this week to play the 8th place Sudbury Wolves. They're just 2 points ahead of the Oshawa Generals and Niagara Ice Dogs, who have 15 points. And let's round it out with the top 10 in the Owen Sound Attack scoring. We've already mentioned the top 3 already. Servac Petrovsky has found his offensive groove. He's 4th with 22 points, 2 ahead of Ethan Burrows. OA forward Matthew Pappas is 6th with 17 points, 1 ahead of defenseman Sam Sedley. Caleb Lawrence is almost at that point per game average. He's appeared in 16 games this year, scoring 13 points. Tomislav Brennan and guest of the show Julian Fantino round out the top 10 with 9 points each. Gentlemen, let's start out with some World Cup talk to start off the show. Sunday morning started out well with the Canadian national men's team scoring their first World Cup goal, but then conceded 4 straight and are now eliminated from the World Cup. Thursday's game will be the last one of this year's World Cup for Team Canada. How many games have you guys tuned into, and is there a nation you're cheering for this year?
I mean, obviously, we're cheering for Canada. On the road against Windsor, we were able to sit down before a game and cheer on Canada. Unfortunately, it wasn't the result we wanted, but it's pretty cool to cheer on your home country.
Julian?
Yeah, it's just too bad Davies missed that penalty shot there. Could have been a crucial win there with 3 points. Could have changed the game around for sure.
Absolutely. It was such an exciting moment. If Fonzie scores that goal, first goal in Canadian history, did end up scoring this past Sunday against Croatia. Now, before we kick off the show, the Silver Stick was this past weekend in Whitby. What are some of your favorite minor hockey memories?
Unfortunately, I didn't really get to experience my minor midget season when you know, the silver stick is the real deal, and you got a crowd full of scouts. But I'd probably have to say the Toronto Marlies tournament for me. That was the closest thing I got to those big minor midget tournaments. So I'd probably say the Toronto Marlies tournament in Major Bantam.
Yeah, I played in the silver stick. I definitely had to say that. It was just such a cool atmosphere. I had a lot of fan scouts. It makes you play harder and showcase your skills more.
The Toronto Marlies ended up coming out on top, going perfect to win this year's silver stick. Now, we haven't had you on the show since you won the Ivan Tennant Memorial Award for the top academic student across the OHL, and you accumulated enough credits to graduate grade 12 a year early. First off, congratulations, and tell the fans what you're doing with your spare time.
Well, no school for me this year. I'm doing a co-op at the fire department. It's a really cool experience for me. You know, I've learned a lot so far, and will continue so for the rest of this semester.
And at what point did you decide that you wanted to do that co-op?
In rink school, actually, a couple of the guys threw out that idea to our teacher, Sarah Rao, and I jumped on it. I researched it a bit, and I really thought there's not much a better option for Plan B, so I stuck with it.
And Tino, for yourself, you were talking off camera. You're done school now. Are you enjoying all that spare time now?
Yeah, I'm just taking one calculus course, just working my way through that and enjoying my spare time.
Now, in your U15 season, Cal, Braden Rogers was called up to play on your Quincy team for one game. First off, what was your initial reaction when you heard that Braden was drafted to the Uens Sound Attack?
I was super excited. I'm lucky enough to know Braden before he was drafted here. Like he said, he AP'd up with our team. You know, I was super pumped talking with him. I was hoping that he'd come to Uens Sound. I didn't know if it was going to happen. So when it happened, I was pretty excited to have another Quinny boy on the team. So yeah, I was super pumped about it.
Man, between all the Ottawa area kids and then the Quincy team, you're racking up half the team there. So starting off in Braden's first few weeks here, were you one of those guys that he came up to, maybe asking for some pointers, whether it be on or off the ice, and help him get comfortable here in Uens Sound?
I don't even know if it's so much about like pointers on and off the ice. It's more so just, you know, having someone to talk to. You know, my first year coming into a group of guys, you know, personally myself, smaller guy, everyone's so much bigger than you, you know, it's intimidating for sure. So just having someone to talk to was nice for me. So I just tried to be that for Braden.
Now, Julian, for yourself, before we talk about this season, let's talk about last year in the playoffs. 4 goals, and you added an assist against a very good overage goaltender in Luke Cavlin of the Flint Firebirds. What do you feel led to your success in that 7-game playoff series?
Yeah, I think it was just my compete level, buying into the systems, you know, just really putting in that extra effort there, even more, just trying to get the team to go past the first round.
Now, in that playoff series, you were up against a former minor hockey teammate in Colson Petrie. Yeah. Were there a few good battles in that 7-game series between the two of you?
Yeah, there was a couple good battles between him. We're pretty good buddies, so it was all respectful.
And for the both of you, I know the series didn't end the way that you guys wanted it to, but going to a Game 7, especially in your first year in the OHL, is so important for the years to come here in Uens Sound. What did you guys learn from that series that you hope to move forward with in the next few playoff series in your time in Uens Sound?
Yeah, that's something that doesn't sit well with us. You know, I think the rest of the boys would say the same thing. That series really proved to us, a young group, that how much of a difference it is from regular season to the playoffs. It's a whole new level of hockey. So I think we really learned just the intensity and the compete level, and how you can't take a single shift off in the playoffs, or like Flint did, they'll capitalize on their opportunities and you'll be down, and before you know it, it's too late.
You were 1 game away from knocking off one of the top teams in the Western Conference. What did you learn from that playoff series versus Flint?
Yeah, I just think I learned what it takes to win, honestly, every game. You know, we went in their Game 7, we had the lead early on, but we lost it. And that's it. You got to give it your all for 60 minutes, and you can't take a shift off.
Now, Cal, you finished off your rookie season with 4 goals and 14 assists. What did you work on this summer, not only to prepare for this OHL season, it's also your draft year in the NHL?
I really tried to put on a little bit of size. Being a smaller guy, like I said, it's you know, it's tougher playing against bigger guys. You know, they can bump you off pucks. So for me to take my game to the next level, I think it's really about getting myself stronger so that I can win those puck battles. And yeah.
Now for yourself, Julian, 3 goals and added 7 assists. It's been on display this year a lot. Your new skating style, kind of like that Jeremy Bracco and Antonio Strange's style, using your edges. But for fans that don't know, what advantage does that give you, using those edges that I assume you worked on over the summertime?
Yeah, I think it just helps you see the play when you're on your edges like that. You can see the play. You can kind of build speed off it too, and it just kind of helps you see the whole ice and make plays faster, in my opinion.
Now, aside from that, what were you working on this summer to prepare for this year?
Yeah, just my skating. I was in the gym a lot, just trying to get faster, stronger. That's always important, and just trying to take my skating to the next level for the season.
For the two of you guys, were there any goals that you set for yourself, whether it be offensively or defensively, for this season?
Yeah, I'd say just my defensive game, just try to, just not be on the ice for as many goals as I was last year, kind of try to get my plus minus back up. And then for my offensive game, try to just contribute as much as I can. That's it.
I think I really for me, it's just about rounding up my game, being a complete defenseman, someone they can rely on defensively as well as offensively. In the past, or in minor hockey days even, I was kind of strictly offensive and a bit of a defensive liability. So I think the defensive part of my game is something I've really worked on last year and has improved very much so this year.
Now, in your second season, are there any areas in the game that you feel more comfortable with, whether it's you feel you're not rushing yourself to make that play, maybe turning the puck over in the neutral zone? Any areas you feel more comfortable with in your second season?
Yeah, I think kind of like I said, just defensively, within the system, it's my second year under the system. The things are always changing, but, the basics are usually still there. So I think just the confidence in myself that I'm doing things right, and rather than second guessing myself, is something that's helped me so far this year.
And Julian, for yourself, what areas do you feel a difference in between your rookie year and now this year in your second OHL season?
Yeah, I just think the big part is just getting used to the pace of the game, from minor hockey to big jump. And this year I'm just more accustomed to the pace, and it's just easier to make plays.
Now on the bench, a new assistant coach in Sean Tickle. What's he done for your offensive game this season?
Yeah, honestly, he's been amazing. Just even this morning we had skills with him. Just he always spends extra time, with shooting skills. Basically whatever you need, you can always go to him, and he's there for us. He's been awesome.
Now speaking of offense, you scored your first 2 goals this season versus the Kingston Frontenacs. The first one we saw you toss that monkey off your back. You were creating a bunch of chances, I felt, whether it was hitting a post or hitting the crossbar, just a little bit snake bitten. What did it feel like for you scoring that first goal of the season on that Sunday against Kingston?
Yeah, it was a pretty good feeling, just hitting a lot of post crossbars. Pucks weren't going in, but just coaches told me keep shooting. Eventually they'll go in, and went in. I was pretty happy about it.
Now entering this Thursday for yourself, Cal, 10 games away from a career game number 100. Do you feel time's gone by that quickly?
Yeah, it's the first I've really heard of that, quite honestly. It's kind of cool, something you've dreamed of, to be playing this league. So to think I have 100 or almost 100 games under my belt already is it's pretty cool.
Now, what's impressive about that, you were one of 4 players on the team last year to appear in all 68 games, which I think is an accomplishment for yourself, that you're really taking care of your body and being ready to play in all of those 68 games.
Yeah, for sure. Taking care of your body is a big part of the game. Unfortunately, I have missed 1 game so far this year. Sickness, I couldn't really get out of bed. I was doing everything I could to prepare myself so that I could play in that game against Sarnia, and it's definitely a kicker.
The Iron Man streak is gone.
Knowing that I could be possibly 1 game short.
So we've talked about Sean Tickle on the offensive side. In your 2 years here, what's Jordan Hill done for you defensively?
Hillsy, he's been amazing to me. Whenever I have any questions, he's the guy I'm going to. He, whether that's video or on ice teaching, he's. I think the biggest thing I've taken away from him is my stick work and stick detail. Stick detail is so important. You can take up so much space using your stick, not just your body. So I think learning how to use my stick to defend has been the biggest thing I've taken away from.
And Julian, last weekend, game number 75 versus the North Bay Battalion. So you're not far off from Cal.
No.
You're 15 short there. What are some of your favorite memories in Owen Sound so far?
Oh, I'd have to say Game 6 of the playoffs where we forced Game 7 to Flint. That was pretty cool. Pretty packed crowd. Atmosphere was amazing, and we're just happy to get the job done.
Now, fans will take this opportunity now to throw out tonight's trivia question. The Owen Sound Attack are on the road this weekend, so you'll have an opportunity to win a pair of tickets for next Saturday versus the Guelph Storm. Tonight's trivia question, name the last time the Owen Sound Attack defeated the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds on the road, importantly, in the regular season. Answer the call in to Mark Perry and you'll earn yourself a pair of tickets to next weekend's game versus the Guelph Storm. Now, I won't give the answer away, but it's been a little while. You guys played 2 games there last year. What makes it so tough playing up in the Sault?
Yeah, I think it's just a long bus ride. It's just a long road trip, and usually it's at the end of the road trip. And last year they had a pretty well-rounded team, a lot of high offensive players that are playing at the next level now. So I think, especially as a young team playing against older guys like that know the league, been in it for a while, it can be tough. You
agree with Julian there?
Yeah, it's a long bus ride, definitely for me, a bit jet lagged, and takes a little bit to get adjusted to the speed, and yeah.
Those January 8-hour, 9-hour bus rides, I'm sure, aren't so fun sometimes. I want to go back, Julian, to the third game of the season. The defending Hamilton Bulldogs enter the Bayshore on a very weird Friday night game for whatever reason. Just under 2 minutes in, you get in a fight with Noah Roberts, the son of Gary Roberts. That was your first career game against Hamilton, and it was a rather chippy game. What led to that animosity against Hamilton?
Yeah, I don't even know, to be honest. I just got on the ice, and he was going after Lawrence, and he was 2-on-1ing him, so I was just pulling him out of there, and he just dropped his gloves. So I don't have a problem fighting if a guy wants to, but yeah, we just got chippy from there, I guess.
Now, earlier on, we talked about the top 10 scores. Gore, Barlow, and Gaindon were 3, 4, 5 in the top 10. What have you seen from them this year offensively, leading to so much success for the 3 of them?
Yeah, they've just been playing awesome, honestly. Well, Colby's goal-scoring ability is just off the charts, right? He's going to get drafted this year, and he's having a great year. And Denny's taken an even bigger step than he has last year, and obviously Seti with his playmaking ability, he's just been awesome for our team too.
Speaking of Colby Barlow, Colby was a part of a historic night alongside Servac Petrovsky last Wednesday. Let's take a look at the highlights from the WFCU Center.
Schweinberger tipped in front of the net. Loose and a score.
Just like that, less than 2 minutes in, the Uens Sound Attack are off to the races.
Get a stick on it. He falls in his backside. Now Gaindon's going to rush to the net. And Ishka stretches out that pad. Denny up the middle, former Chatham-Kent Cyclone. Near side for Colby Barlow.
He'll score off a stick of the Spitfires and through the wickets.
Stick of DeAngelis really changed the direction of that shot and handcuffed Ishka. Here's another chance to score.
Another one, Petrovsky catching Ishka, leading 3-0.
Head for him, Schweinberger, who had come down the wall to force the winger.
Right on the stick of Pappas in front of that. They'll score another one. Barlow's got his second, and the Spitfires trail 4.
Smith in over the line. He's got to move. Smith in on net,
And the Spitfires will score.
Burrows behind. Renwick gives him a shot. And that puck is loose in front. Barlow couldn't get it off. Now he does. Give him the trick.
And it's 5-1. Colby Barlow strikes again.
Down. He says you need 4 goals. You got 20 minutes to do it, so you score 1 every 5.
There's a shot in the lad one here. Cristoforo.
Spitfires, they've scored 1 on the power play. DeAngelis blocked by Gore.
Good try to their angle. They'll score.
And here's the play. Cross, nice score. Just chips to head for Barlow. Barlow for Petrovsky. He's looking for the trick. Give it to him.
An empty netter to seal it away. Servac Petrovsky open.
Servac Petrovsky and Colby Barlow, each scoring a hat trick. The third time it's been done in the franchise's history, and the first time it's been done on the road. The other 2 were well before we were all alive. So 2 hat tricks in one evening, like I mentioned. Is that one of those games that the 2 of you will remember in the next few years that, for Julian, you were there in the building, Cal, you were on the ice, one you'll remember that you were a part of team's history in that way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's pretty crazy for two players to have a hat trick in the same game. I don't think I'll ever see that again, but quite honestly, I'm not even surprised. You know, being Servac and Colby, it's what they do. They put the puck in the back of the net, and it's pretty cool to see.
Now, off air there, when you saw Colby skate around the net, you were saying that was ridiculous. Is that one of the best plays you've seen him make ever since the two of you were here in Owen Sound?
I wouldn't say the best, but it was great patience on his part. Just slotted in there at the end. Honestly, it was a great goal.
Now, Cal, the Windsor Spitfires were one of the best teams in the Western Conference this season. First, let's talk about the opening 20 minutes. First periods for the team this year have been a little bit shaky. What did Servac's early goal, just a minute and 50 seconds in, do for the team on that Wednesday night?
Yeah, for sure. That was super important for us. You know, that's something that our team had addressed going in that game. You know, starting games down 1 or 2 goals is something that you just can't do. You're not going to come back from every game, especially come crunch time and into the playoffs. Going down a goal or 2 early, having that huge momentum swings, you can't win like that. So we really bared down that first period. We really wanted it, so Servac scoring that goal just put our momentum through the roof.
And Julian, the previous game, I mentioned career game number 75 for you against North Bay was a loss. What did that win on Wednesday night do for the team moving forward?
Yeah, I think it was huge, especially against a team like Windsor's high up in the standings. You know, they're doing pretty well this season, and we're competing with them. So I think it was a big road win for sure for the team.
The Owen Sound attack 2-0 against the Windsor Spitfires this year. The first game at home, a 5-4 overtime victory, and then a road win at the WFCU Center. Now we'll have an opportunity later on in the show to look at the highlights from the home and home between Owen Sound and Guelph later on. But speaking of the Midwest Division, what's your favorite rivalry in the OHL?
I've got to say London. I have some personal battles within London. You know, every time they're in our building, it's a good game. It's intense, it's fast, and there's a lot of scrums and a lot of physicality in it.
Yeah, I definitely say London, even Kitchener too a little bit, even last year what happened. So those two teams for sure.
Now, with the acquisition of James Petrovsky for the Owen Sound attack, once everyone's healthy, there will be 9 defensemen on the roster. Everyone's going to be battling on the back end for ice time. First off, what do you think that does for the team itself with all that healthy competition?
Yeah, I think it's great for us. You know, we are all pushing each other. You know, you can't take a shift, you can't take a night off, because if you do, someone's going to be replacing you. So having that person at your back all the time trying to take your job as much as it may suck in some scenarios for some people, it's good for you, and it'll push you to be your best every night.
And then finally, you enjoy that healthy competition, you know, battling for that ice time that you're playing for every night?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, fans, I had the opportunity, we mentioned the acquisition of James Petrovsky, the Silver Stick happening in Whitby. I had the opportunity to speak with General Manager Dale DeGray for a few minutes. We'll now go to that interview. I want to take this time to thank and welcome General Manager Dale DeGray onto this evening's episode of Attack Rap. Dale, how are you?
I'm doing well, Zach. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. So some fans might know the Silver Stick tournament happened this past weekend in Whitby. The Toronto Marlies came out on top, winning the entire tournament. Dale, what did you think of the entire competition this weekend as a whole?
Well, I think for a whole, I'll say this to start off. It's the one tournament that I think the champion is absolutely the champion, because it's a grueling. They start on Thursday and they play basically two games a day. And if you get to the finals, you've probably played 7 games in 4 days. It's a crazy schedule. So I always give kudos to the team that wins it, because it's a grueling affair, and you are a champion of champions as far as I'm concerned in that tournament. But good tournament nonetheless. There's a few surprises, a few surprise teams. But that's the way it works out every single year, because they have different pools, and you might get in what I would deem maybe a weaker pool. And you get through, and then all of a sudden the true colors show. You get to the Final Four and you lose like 7-2 or something.
No, it's always one of the biggest highlights on the calendar of the year for the U16 tournament. So going into the month of December now with the Silver Stick, probably the biggest on your list. When does the Owen Sound Attack start forming their primary rankings list for the U16 season leading up to the draft?
Yeah, actually, timely question. Not a lot of teams do it. A lot of teams will do it at the Whitby Silver Stick. We have done this in the past. We've actually changed it. The Waterloo Gold Puck is coming up in a week on the 10th. We have our meetings there. That'll be our first rankings, our first list. Sort of go at the list, anyways, and see where we're at. It's always interesting to see. Some years it's a great draft. It's a great draft, and you get 15, 22 kids on the board, and you're like, oh, maybe it's not as great as we thought. So until you really start putting names to slotted spots, you're usually excited about the draft, but a lot of times you'll walk away going, okay, well, I'm glad we've got some picks later on, because quite honestly, that's where we do get quite lucky in that we pick up some kids through the 4th, through the 7th, through the 12th round picks. And that's where you sort of make hay.
Speaking of scouting, you made a trade, I believe, just before that Oshawa Generals game when you acquired James Petrovsky from the Flint Firebirds. Now he's only a second-year guy. When did he start catching your attention leading up to the trade?
Honestly, he had nothing to do with the trade. Like leading up to the trade, he got our attention last year in the playoffs, and he was a guy that we talked about on a regular basis after most games, and just at how well he played and how poised he was, and I don't know, maybe if this year he got off maybe on the wrong foot somewhere, some way, somehow. I don't know, but I know bringing him in, I think there's tremendous upside. There's tremendous untapped potential there for us to sort of see, like you said, he's an 05. He's a 17-year-old. And for us to be able to grab him, bring him in, we really liked him in minor midget and loved him in the playoffs. So for us to be able to get him, to bring him in and have Jordan Hill and the coaches and the rest of the group sort of work with him and help mold him to become what we think he could be, I think it was a no-brainer for us.
Now, I got to ask you, the Flint Firebirds were one game away from going to the OHL finals last year. Was that a factor in the trade, maybe a little bit of an added bonus where he had that long championship run as a rookie with the team here this year and next year having high hopes of making a run of your own?
Well, it wasn't a big factor, but, you've heard me say time and time again, one of the things that I can promise parents is that we're making the playoffs. And what I sell to the players is that when you make the playoffs, that's what the scouts want to see. The scouts want to see how you perform in the playoffs. So for James being through this already for the most part for a long run, it's only going to benefit him and benefit our group as we move forward.
And final question for you, with him being a second-year guy, what do you hope that he brings to the team and especially on the blue line moving forward?
Well, for me and probably for Jordan Hill and the group, one thing he brings soft.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
I'm a homicide detective. I follow the evidence and I arrest bad guys.
Help me put these two animals in prison for the rest of their damn lives.
You started in narcotics. Why'd you make the move here?
Over here, the bad guys are the bad guys.
I had to take an oath in order to get this job. And I try to honor that promise that I made to this city, my co-workers, and the people who live here.
Law and Order, SVU, and Organized Crime. All new episodes every Thursday.
What a night.
On City TV.
Hi, I'm Krista McKee of Wandering Grey Bruce. This season, we will be meeting some really interesting people. We're going to go visit Thornbury in the Clarksburg area, just to name a few. We will be going glamping, learning about some garlic, and checking out some live edge furniture.
And you can see all the little wormholes in here.
And it's smooth. watch us on Rogers TV or online.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Welcome back to Attack Wrap. Zach Scribner joined alongside Cal Uens and Julian Fantino of the Owenstown Attack. Fans, just a reminder, the trivia question for tonight: when was the last time the Owenstown Attack defeated the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds on the road in the regular season? Now, guys, before we go into the highlights versus the Guelph game on Friday, you mentioned it a little bit yourself, Cal. Did you guys lose or add weight over the summertime?
I think I gained a couple pounds. That must be 5, just a little bit.
I put 10 pounds on over the summer. So.
Okay, with that being said, now let's take a look at the highlights Friday night at the Sleeman Center versus the Guelph Storm.
Return feed as they play give and go. Back to Bushinger, and they're going to exchange positions. Bushinger will send it across for Valentin Jugan, who went up and scores! Valentin Jugan!
Going to have this go.
And Burrows, a shot from the point, eludes Gillespie, and Lawrence was kind of cruising in front of him. Cruising down, trying to cut in there. There's the backhand, scores! Nemesnikov! Servak Petrovsky, low shot, scores, and it is Colby Barlow, the captain, who ties this game. And fed in front, and Gore with the shot. Getting a piece of that was Gillespie. Right in front, another chance by Denny Gore with a couple opportunities for the attack. Denny Gore scores! Power play goal for Denny Gore. Coming off the half wall and makes no mistake. Swung out for Walker. He sees Bushinger. He'll walk the line and dish back to Walker. His little shot scores! Cooper Walker is the captain, delivers. To Bushinger. Shilkin shot, rebound, loose puck, trying to jam away at it there. It was Potter, and he just couldn't get it to go. Mad Max has a goal tonight at 8 on the year. Mad Max in, makes a nice move, and my goodness, what a goal by Max Nemesnikov. Here comes Denny Gore. Gillespie out to challenge, Gore cutting in, Gore, backhands over top of the net. The Guelph Storm win in the shootout.
Max Nemesnikov plays the hero in the shootout for the Guelph Storm, but the Owenstown Attack do pick up 1 point, a very important point, in the Midwest Division. Now, guys, the penalty kill has been one of the league's best so far, and you guys go 6 for 7 Friday night. What did you guys see that made it so successful?
I think it's just our attention to detail. It's something we work on a lot, off and on the ice. We do lots of video before and after games. So really think it's just our attention to detail with it.
Now, similar story to Carter George. Braden Gillespie of Guelph was called up from junior beat earlier this year, although he was drafted in the 2021 draft. Julian, does the game plan change from an offensive standpoint going up against a goalie who's just playing this third OHL game?
I think maybe just try to shoot more pucks, maybe some scenarios where you wouldn't shoot, put some pucks on net just to test them early, but just pretty much stays the same, I think.
Now, for the two of you guys, do you still get that strange feeling playing against a former teammate in Oki?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. We all loved Oki, so playing against them is definitely something we're not used to yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I definitely say the same thing. It's a little bit weird playing against him, but, he's a great guy.
I believe it was on one of the penalties in the second or third period. You could see Denny give him a hard time, but all Oki was doing was smiling back at you guys. Now, Adrian's not here, but we're still going to carry on Grey County's favorite game on a Tuesday night. What's in the helmet? A few new questions for you guys. First off, who has the hardest shot on the team?
Hardest shot? I'd say Thomas Chafe.
Probably Madenstein.
Madenstein, a player you wouldn't want to be stuck with in the car for more than 2 hours.
I just get sewer on this question, honestly. My answer is Rick, but...
This is your opportunity, Julian.
I just say Chenard, honestly.
You vote for Tino?
I'll vote Tino.
It's a good play.
Favorite genre of music or favorite artist?
Probably country. I don't know about favorite artist, but probably genre country.
I'd say like hip hop or EDM. I don't really have a favorite artist though. So that's tough to pick one.
Who has the worst taste in music on the team?
T.S. Jordan.
T.S. Jordan.
This is one that Adrian likes. I know you're a big golfer, so I kept it in. What's your ideal golf foursome?
Ideal golf foursome. Probably Corbin Votary, Matt Steen, and Ethan Burrows. He can hit the ball.
Do you golf, Tino?
Yeah, I do.
So it doesn't have to be anyone on the team. Doesn't have to be on the team.
All right,
anybody.
we'll go with Paul Bisnett. We'll go Wayne Gretzky, and one more. We'll get Paulina Gretzky in there too.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. My girlfriend might be watching, so I'll go with my girlfriend.
I'll say the same. I gotta go with my girlfriend.
Good answer, lads.
You're not cracking us, man. No chance.
So it's a Saturday or a Wednesday. What's your pregame routine?
Pre-game routine, I'm pretty light with that stuff. I'm a big believer in if you have all these pre-game routines, if something goes wrong, then that may throw you off. So I try to have as little as possible to a pre-game routine, so that way, no matter what, you can't throw me off.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say just go for a nap, eat my pre-game meal, and go take my stick and get ready for the game.
Who's the most superstitious player on the team?
Superstitious.
I don't know, I'm trying to think. It's probably tough. Probably one of the goalies.
I was going to say Nick or Corbin.
Yeah,
I think
one of the goalies.
Cedar too a little bit, just with his sticks.
I think Sedley too, his gloves. Yeah.
His gloves.
Yeah.
Probably Sedley. Sedley's always doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I know this about you from off camera, but favorite NHL team and how many games do you guys watch a week?
Penguins, and every game I can get televised.
Yeah, mine are Red Wings, and honestly, whatever game I can get televised, or I'll just watch some of the other games in the league.
It's almost the month of December now, so just adding this one in off the top of my head. What's your favorite Christmas tradition around the holidays?
Probably just, Christmas dinner. Spend the day at my grandparents is always fun, especially now when you spend so much time up here. You only get to see your family so much, so it's really nice to spend that time with them.
Yeah, I'd say probably just spending time with my family and friends. Simple.
Favorite Netflix series or TV show?
Right now I'm watching How to Get Away with Murder. I'm pretty into it.
I'd say my favorite was Money Heist or Breaking Bad. Those two were good.
Who do you guys try to model your own game after from a player in the NHL?
Ooh.
I'm Jared Spurgeon.
I'd be like maybe, this is tough. I'd say maybe Tom Wilson. Maybe not as physical as him, but just kind of can play both sides of the game.
And final question, which member on the team takes the longest to respond to a text?
Tom's Chief. I don't even know if he has a phone.
I don't even know if he has a phone number, that guy. Yeah, we'll go with him. I don't even have his number.
There we go, another edition of What's in the Helmet. And like I mentioned, now let's take an opportunity to watch the highlights from this past Saturday against the Guelph Storm.
Barlow up against Jilkin, getting pushed towards the blue line. Gaindahl bats it up into the air. Here is Sedley. Owen Sound wants to push it right back in. Sedley gets a step around Bushinger, scores! Perfect placement there. Sam Sedley, a great rush, and it's 1-0 Owen Sound. Bushinger scores! A heavy drive from the point, and Michael Bushinger has tied the game. Nemestikov flips it in. Allen pursues it in the corner. Takes a hit for his efforts. Quattro from a tough angle on goal. Rebound, scores! Who else but Max Nemestikov? He is loving life in the Royal City, and the Storm lead 2-1. Seed comes down the boards. Seed going behind the net, tried to throw it in front. Maintains control of it. Finds Lawrence with a shot, and what a close save made by Jacob Allen. With a shot, blocker save made by Votary. There was a little room there short side, so a good stop from the attack netminder. Julian drags it out of the corner, splits through, out in front, he scores! Dandy of an effort there from Valentin Jugan, and it's 3-1 for the Storm. Attack do want to hurry here to at least get established in the zone before McGuire is out of the box. Gained a little shake and bake down low. Barlow, what a save by Oster! Maybe his best of the night as he denies Colby Barlow. Just kind of flung right off. Gained sliding in one-timer. Barlow scores! The Attack needed that one, and Colby Barlow gets a power play goal, and the streak continues. Lawrence hard across, finds Gaindaw in front, Barlow, and it goes over top of the net. Gore walking to the dot, drags and fires, he scores! Top shelf, Denny Gore, and it's 3-3. Relentless has been Denny Gore. Nemestikov now pumps the puck over to Danny Zhilkin. Petrosky watching him. Zhilkin stepping in. He scores! Danny Zhilkin, the OT hero. Short side roof, and the Storm win it.
Danny Zhilkin scores the overtime winner, halting the Owen Sound Attack's attempt at a comeback, defeating the Owen Sound Attack by a score of 4-3. And just to update the fans at home, the Guelph Storm did have a 2-0 lead on the London Knights. George Diaco and now Easton Cowan scored with 1 second left on the clock. So after 20 minutes of play at Budweiser Gardens, it's tied 2-2. Guys, now down 3-1 going into the third period. The power play clicked for 2 goals that equalized the game. The power play seems to be turning around now. What's changed in maybe the past week that's made it so successful?
I don't know. I'd just say we maybe practice a little bit more, just more attention to detail. I think Jordan Hill's taken over the power play now. So he's put a lot of time, effort into it too. So, yeah, just sticking with it.
What have you seen from the power play, Cal?
Yeah, I mean, having our power play getting back to where it needs to be is huge for us. If we're going to be a contender this year, the power play is something that's going to need to perform. So having them getting back on track is huge for us.
Sam Sedley opened the scoring and in the third period was playing forward. We've seen that earlier on in the season with some injuries up front. What do you guys admire about Sam's game that makes him so versatile?
Yeah, I'd say just his patience and the way he sees the ice and how he's just able to make plays under pressure and just some scenarios where you don't think he can make the play and just gets it done.
Yeah, probably his skill and, like Tino said, his patience. Never really panics. He's very confident in everything he does. And
now, last year, you were in that situation a little bit playing on the wing. How big of an adjustment is it at first, playing those first few shifts, just getting adjusted to playing forward again?
Yeah, the first few shifts are a little nerve-wracking. It's quite different from playing D. Definitely more tiring. You get tired out quickly, but it really isn't too big of a difference just because we spend so much time doing video and making sure that everyone understands their roles, whether that is your role or not. So we all know our plays and our routes, so it really isn't too bad.
Now, you were robbed of the opportunity last year, but this year, earlier on in the new year, you'll have the opportunity to play in your hometown game when the Owen Sound Attack travel to play the Kingston Frontenacs. What's going to make that game so special for you?
It's going to be very cool. Growing up, I every birthday was going to a Kingston Frontenacs game and out for dinner to the Lone Star. So being able to play in that barn is something I've dreamed of since I was a little kid. So it's something I'm really looking forward to.
Hometown game, you're going to have to take them out for dinner.
Yeah, I might have to, eh?
Now, speaking of that game, you'll have the opportunity to play against some former minor hockey teammates, whether it be between the Ottawa 67s and the Kingston Frontenacs. Are you just looking forward to catching up with some of those guys you played minor hockey with after the game?
Yeah, it'll be really cool to see those guys. Like Ethan Quick and Jack Dever. Mm-hmm. I haven't played against them since minor midget when we were playing little inter squad games, but I'm used to being on the same side of the ice with them, so it'll be weird to be in a real game scenario where we'll be facing off against each other.
Do you feel for yourself, Julian, maybe that a little extra adrenaline rush playing in front of fans and family?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. When all your friends and family are there, you want to perform and do your best, so think it'll be really fun for him to be able to have that opportunity.
Now, you guys have had a few skates with the fans this season, something you didn't get to have the opportunity of last season due to COVID restrictions. What are some of those fan interactions like for the both of you?
Yeah.
It's super fun, you know. We were those kids not too long ago. A lot of people on the ice see us as these big, mature men, but really we're just little kids, and so it's really cool getting out there, interacting with the fans and joking around. It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's just awesome to see the support that we have, like how many people turn up, and just to see that our crowd and our fans are always there for us.
Now, you mentioned you went to a lot of Kings and Frontenacs games on your birthdays. Who was one player that you always liked watching that really stuck out to you?
Probably Nathan Spooner.
Okay.
He was a big name when he was there. Michael Delzato.
Yep.
Yeah, those are two guys I really look to, as well as Sam Bennett. I believe played there.
Did you make it to any OHL games as a kid?
Yeah, I would go to Mississauga's not too far from me, so I go to some Steelhead games. And when North Bay Battalion was in Brampton, I went there. I think I watched a couple of games there, so it was pretty nice.
Any players that stuck out to you, whether it be from Missy?
One time I went to watch Mississauga, and Sudbury's in town, and I got to watch Byfield. He had a sick game there. He's pretty.
So you'll have a hometown game coming up for yourself then?
Yeah, Mississauga.
Missy.
Yeah, not too far, 30 minutes away. It's pretty close.
Now, fans, let's take an opportunity. Mark McKelvey had the opportunity to join Jordan Hill after Saturday night's overtime loss to the Guelph Storm.
Mark McKelvey standing ringside following the Uens Sound Attack's 4-3 overtime loss to the Guelph Storm, joined by associate coach Jordan Hill. And Jordan, back-to-back nights losing in extra time to a division rival. You end up with 2 out of a possible 4 points. It's kind of like splitting the weekend, but when you lose both games, I'm sure you're not looking at it that way.
Yeah, obviously we're very disappointed with how it ended up, but give Guelph a lot of credit. They came out ready to play and obviously took it to us at some points in that game. And I was proud of our group for responding, but we got to figure out, obviously, as a team, to find a way to play a full 60 minutes.
You bring that up about playing a full 60 minutes. Kind of felt like some sluggish starts over the past couple of nights. What are you seeing at the start of the games? Because obviously the team has prepped you. You know who your opponent is, but what can you maybe chalk that up to some of the slow starts?
Yeah, we're obviously trying to dissect it ourselves right now. You know, we're putting everything under a microscope, from our staff video, from the kids' preparation. You know, it's something we're dealing with right now on a day-to-day basis, clearly.
You guys faced the Guelph Storm an awful lot last year, so you're very familiar with most of their key parts. This is a team that had really been struggling earlier in the year, but seems to be turning a corner. Did you feel at all maybe your team maybe underestimated them a little bit the last couple of nights?
I mean, no, we definitely prepared our group to know what kind of group they were. We saw them a lot last year, like you mentioned. We know what kind of players they have. They definitely didn't get off to the start they wanted as a team, but we expected what we got this weekend.
Now, looking at some of the pluses and the positive side of things, your big guns continue to just light the lamp, goal-scoring streaks and point streaks for several players. Seeing your big players step up in big moments, is that just kind of something that can be taught, or is that just kind of natural? It kind of feels like guys like Colby Barlow and Denny Gore seem to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. I won't lie to you. I'm really enjoying sitting back there and seeing how they play the hockey game. So it's exciting for, obviously, the city having these guys in Uens Sound, and we're looking forward to what they do going forward here.
Now we look ahead to next weekend, 3 games in 4 days on the road, heading north, playing some teams that you haven't seen yet this year. What's the preparation going to be like over the next few days?
Yeah, dissect, obviously, the weekend, what we did wrong, which we obviously have a pretty good idea already. Deal with our starts, clearly, come Monday practice. It's something we just talked about in the room right there. And then dissect again the video, what we're going to see this weekend, and go through the team structure as needed.
And lastly, Jordan, when you look at the standings each day right now, you guys are finding yourselves at the top of the Midwest Division. How much or how little are you looking at the standings at this point in the year?
I mean, you're definitely keeping a close eye on it. There's no, I wouldn't lie and say I'm not, but obviously, you know, it's just a short-term mentality. Every point matters, but right now we can't get too ahead of ourselves with the standings.
All right, well, best of luck coming up next week on that road trip, and we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, the Attack back in action Thursday night in Barrie.
A big thank you to Mark McKelvey and Jordan Hill for taking the time to do that interview following Saturday night's overtime loss to the Guelph Storm. Now, guys, let's throw ahead to this week now. Starting off the road trip, you go against the Barrie Colts who last time at Sadlin Arena started out with a 5-1 lead. I'm sure you guys watched some video back from that game. What's going to be the key to success Thursday night against Barrie?
Well, again, like we talked about, it's our starts. You can't go down 5-1 against them again. You're not going to pull that off again. So, yeah, I think it's like we've been harping on. We got to get off to a good start and then play it from there.
Now, it doesn't count towards the personal stats, but you had the only goal in that 6-5 comeback victory in a lengthy shootout. What did that goal mean to you, completing the comeback for the team and getting that first career OHL win for Carter George?
Yeah, I think it just meant more to him and the team, honestly. It was just pretty cool to see him come in his first game and just come back from 5-1 to get the job done. I think it was pretty cool to see that for him.
It was always fun watching the celebration. Half the guys are going towards you, and then the other half of the team.
Yeah, I was trying to go to him.
We're going this way.
This way.
Friday night, I believe, against the Sudbury Wolves. First time the two of you will ever be going into that building. The cool Wolf there, but going up against an 8th place team, it's not a team you can take lightly. There's some serious skill there. What's going to be the key to victory against Sudbury?
You can't take anyone lightly in this league. You know, us being the team we are, we're going to get everyone's best every night. So we're not treating it like we're playing an 8th place team. We're going to give them everything we have.
Now, I mentioned James Petrovsky earlier on in the show, bringing 9 defensemen to the Owen Sound Attack blue line. What do you see in his game? He's only a second-year kid, but that stretch pass that he makes, that breakout pass, so exceptional. He's only a second-year guy, where you guys went up against him a lot in the playoffs. What do you find from James Petrovsky since coming over from Flint?
Yeah, he's a super big kid. Like you said, he's a great puck mover. I think that's probably the biggest benefit of his game is the way he can transition pucks. Transition game is a huge part of the game, so it seems or sounds simple enough, but it's a very, very good skill to have.
We're going to have Antonio Tersini and Tomislav Brennan on the show next week. Tomislav's a player that you've played with a lot this year. What have you seen from him in his first 15 games in the Ontario Hockey League?
Yeah, I think he's been awesome. Like, he's had a really good start for our team. You know, he's been producing up front for us, and he has a pretty good release on his shot, and he's a fast player, so it's definitely nice playing with him.
Top 15 in Ontario Hockey League rookie scoring. Final few questions for you guys. We only have a few minutes left. With the expectations for this team for a long run, you know, you guys have led the Midwest Division practically all year long. What does that do for the mood in the room, you know, keeping it light and making it a fun environment to play in?
Yeah, I mean, the more you win, the more fun you have. So the more fun you have, the longer you're going to go into the playoffs. You know, when you're losing, things get tough and takes away a bit of that passion that you have for the game. So getting wins under your belt can really help push a team forward.
Do you agree with Cal there?
Yeah, I definitely agree with him. Honestly, it's just us sticking to playing the right way, and just if we play the right way for a full 60 minutes, we'll get the job done, and the results will come, and we'll stay on top of the standings.
Now, you guys were a young team last year, but the skill was there, especially towards the second half of the season. Do you notice any major differences from last year's group to this year?
I'd just say like it's more like a mature group. Like we had like 13. We had a lot of rookies last year, something like that. So I think just like a lot of guys playing their second years or their third years, fourth years. It's just another year under your belt, and we had that playoff run there to Game 7, which obviously helps a lot. And yeah, I think it's just a more mature group. We've experienced a lot more stuff than last year, and I think we'll benefit from it a lot.
I think as we were a young group, we made a lot of mistakes, and it cost us quite often. I think we've really tightened up defensively, and we don't give up as much opportunities as we did before.
Yeah.
I think that's proven through we have one of the best goals against in the league, so I think that's the biggest difference from last year to this year.
Now, we've heard from players so far this year, the group's so close, it's really like a second family for everyone. What is it about this group that makes the connections so special for you guys this season?
I think it's just having a lot of the guys joining the team at the same time too, like a lot of new players last year and rookies, and we have a great veteran group of players that, you know, last year they were really good to us, and this year good to the rookies that are in the team now. So I think it just helps having a lot of players joining at the same time and just getting close within a short period of time.
Yeah, I have to agree. Just great group of guys. We got a ton of older guys who have great personalities and very welcoming to us younger guys. And you know, if we're gonna be successful, we need everyone to be on the same page. So it's an important thing to have.
Now, final few questions for you guys. Putting you on the spot here, I didn't tell you about this before the show started. What's a fun fact that you want the fans to know about you?
Fun fact. I don't know. This is tough. Fun fact I want the fans to know about me. I don't know. I have an Italian passport, so there you go.
That works.
Use that one.
There was a time in my hockey career where I was at a 50-50 debate between whether I wanted to be a golfer or a hockey player.
Damn.
Really? How many times did you golf practically every day in the summer then?
Yeah, like 18 to 36 holes a day and tournaments, and so yeah, I was very passionate about golf, but thought being a Canadian, hockey is probably my best shot.
So I'm going to say if you play 18 to 36 holes in a day, that you're probably the best golfer on the team. But who would come second to you?
I think probably Ethan Burrows and I we'd battle. He's a good golfer, so I think it'd be a good match.
I see the two of you are growing out the mustaches for November.
Yeah, mine's just for men. It was better 2 weeks ago when the dye was fresh.
Now we pulled it up on the broadcast Saturday and found out that Nick Chenard's really honoring his grandfather with the Movember that he's got going. Who do you think has the best one going on the team? And Colby doesn't count because he said that going long before November.
He's cheating on that one. Best Movember on the team. That's tough.
I think Chenard for sure.
Yeah, Rick got a good one.
I don't think
definitely.
he could put anyone ahead of him.
But Teo's had a pretty hefty mustache going on there for a while. He maybe close second place.
Are you keeping that or are you getting rid of it?
Oh no, this is coming right off in 2 days.
So a fun one for you guys now. I think what also makes this group so special is the idea of having those warm-up jerseys with everyone's nickname on them. What's some of your favorite ones on the team this year?
Probably Daddy Burr.
Yeah. Dad of the team.
Yeah,
for
Daddy
sure.
Burr. What's another one? Pablo's pretty cool one.
Pablo, yeah.
So what are you going to do with James Petrovsky now? You can't have two Petros.
I think it was Ski.
Yeah, some people would call
JP.
him.
JP.
Gets a lot of
Okay.
JP. Yeah.
Ski. Yeah.
You went with Yui, and I think yours just Tino.
Yeah, just Tino.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I want to thank you for joining myself here on another episode of Attack Rap. We only have 2 episodes left before we go off for the Christmas break. So, Cal, Julian, all the best leading up to the Christmas break and continued success in the second half of the season as well.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Cal Uens and Julian Fantino of the Uens Sound Attack. Next week, we'll have Antonio Tersini and Tomislav Brennan. You've been watching Attack Rap on Rogers TV.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
We can be hurt. We can be bruised. We can be broken. Slowed down, confused, and even numbed. But we can't be defeated. We're built on a foundation that's strong, our mission unwavering, and together we'll beat as one.
Watching hockey just got a power play with NHL Center Ice and Super Sports Pack. With up to 37 out-of-market NHL games a week, you'll always catch your favorite team no matter where you live, whether it's big